Imagine facing a storm so fierce, so relentless, that it feels like it might swallow you whole. Yet here you are, standing tall, stronger than ever. What if I told you that every storm you've weathered, every challenge you've overcome has shaped you into something unstoppable? You didn't just survive, you thrived. And now it's time to rise with purpose, because the world needs what only you can give. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying, be proud you're still here. In a world that's constantly shifting, where things often seem out of our control, where storms of uncertainty seem to rage without warning, just the fact that you're standing here today is an achievement. Let that sink in for a second. You've made it this far, but let me be clear, it wasn't easy. It never is. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never thought we'd be tested. You felt the weight of struggles that seemed insurmountable. You faced days where giving up felt like the only option. I know, I've been there. I've had moments where I questioned whether I could continue, whether the grind was worth it. But let me tell you, in those very moments of doubt in the face of adversity, that's when we grow. That's when we discover who we truly are. You know, when I was younger, there were times when I thought the world was just too big and I was too small to make any real difference. There were nights I spent alone, wondering if I was going to make it to the next day, let alone accomplish the things I dreamed of. There was one point where I didn't think I'd make it through the pain, through the loneliness, or through the battles that life had thrown at me. There were no guarantees. But here's the thing I learned. Life will never give you guarantees, but it will give you chances. You just have to keep pushing forward, even when everything inside you is screaming to stop. You see, I came to realize that every time I faced a challenge, every time I hit rock bottom, I wasn't being punished. I was being prepared. The scars I carried, the emotional scars, the physical scars, they were marks of growth. And maybe, just maybe, those very scars were proof that I was stronger than the circumstances I was going through. Each day I woke up, despite the pain, was a victory. Each step forward, even if it was the smallest of steps, was progress. And I knew that as long as I kept moving, no matter how slow, I was winning. And so are you. Life has a way of throwing us into the fire to see if we can withstand the heat. But let me tell you something. You've already withstood more than you realize. Every time you fell and got back up, every time you thought you were defeated and kept going anyway, you proved that nothing can break you. People might not always see the battles you fought, the struggles you've overcome, or the pain you've endured. But those experiences have shaped you into who you are today. And let me tell you this. You are a survivor. You are a warrior. You are stronger than you think. There's something powerful about looking back and realizing that the things you thought would break you didn't break you. Those very things were the tools that shaped you. You were forged in the fire. And now you're standing unshaken, unbroken. That resilience, that determination, it's inside of you. You may not always see it, but it's there, and that's something to be proud of. Now, I'm sure you've had your moments of doubt where you wondered if the journey was worth it, if the pain you went through was ever going to have meaning. I've been there. But let me tell you, the fact that you're still here means you haven't given up on yourself. It means you have something inside of you that refuses to quit. That's the spirit of a champion. You don't give up when things get tough. You dig deep and you find the strength you didn't know you had. You press on because something inside of you knows that quitting is never the answer. We live in a world where it's easy to lose hope, where the noise of the world can drown out the quiet strength inside of us. But when you take a moment to reflect, when you look at the road you've walked, you'll see that it's been paved with resilience. Every obstacle, every challenge, every single tear that you've shed along the way has made you who you are today. That's why you should be proud, because even in your weakest moments, you've shown up. Even when the world tried to break you, you stood tall. So remember this. It's not about the setbacks. It's not about the failures. It's not about how many times you've stumbled. It's about what you do when you fall. It's about your refusal to stay down, about your ability to rise again and again. And you've done that. You've risen, you've kept going, you've survived the sleepless nights, the broken hearts, the disappointments, the failures, and here you are, stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next. And it's not about comparing your journey to anyone else's. Your road is yours and yours alone. You don't need anyone else's approval to know that you've done the work, that you've made it through the tough times. You've been fighting a battle that no one else can see, and you've won every single day. You've kept going. So today, stand tall, stand proud. You've made it. And every scar, every tear, every bruise is a badge of honor. You've earned it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And now, as you stand here, take a moment to reflect on all that you've overcome. Take pride in your journey, but don't stop here. Don't rest on your laurels. The world needs you. It needs your strength, your story, your journey. You've fought this far, now keep going. The future's waiting for you to show it what you're made of. So go on and rise with pride. You've already proven that you have what it takes. The world is yours for the taking. You are still here. And that, my friends, is something to be incredibly proud of. You know, I often look back at my own journey and I see the hurdles, the struggles, and the battles that I've faced. Some were out of my control, some I brought on myself, but the truth is they all played a role in shaping me. The pain, the rejection, the failures, they all taught me lessons I couldn't have learned any other way. Every scar, every setback was part of my growth. It wasn't easy. There were nights when I felt like giving up. There were moments when I thought I'd reached the end of the road, and no matter how hard I tried, no matter how badly I wanted to succeed, it seemed like success was just beyond my grasp. There were days when it felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill, and no matter how many times I fell, I had to keep climbing back up. You know that feeling, don't you? When everything around you seems to crumble, when the voices of doubt are louder than the voices of hope, when all you want to do is curl up and disappear. I've been there. But here's what I learned in those moments of struggle, those moments that felt like they would break me. I was actually being molded. Every single hardship, every failure, every rejection, every time I stumbled, I was being shaped for something greater. I wasn't being punished by the world. I was being prepared for the future. I had to go through the fire in order to come out refined. And that's what growth really is. It's not the easy moments that shape us, it's the difficult ones. The moments where we feel like we can't keep going, and yet we do. The moments where we don't see a way out, but somehow we find one. I can remember times in my life where it felt like I wasn't good enough, where it felt like the world was telling me I wasn't cut out for success, that I wasn't meant to reach the heights I dreamed of. I'd hear the voices of critics, doubters, and naysayers, and it started to weigh on me. But then I realized something important. The world doesn't get to define me. The only person who can define me, the only person who has the power to shape my destiny is me. And I started to understand that rejection wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was just a redirection, a way of telling me that there was a better path ahead, one I hadn't yet discovered. Namely, every obstacle that stood in my way taught me something valuable, whether I saw it at the time or not. When I was rejected, I learned resilience. When I failed, I learned to get back up and try again. When I fell short, I learned humility. And when it all felt like too much, I learned the value of persistence. And that's the thing about struggles. They don't just test you, they refine you. Every challenge you face, no matter how painful it may seem, has a purpose. Not there to defeat you, it's there to prepare you for something greater. I started to understand that the setbacks I faced weren't just obstacles, they were stepping stones. They were the foundation upon which I would build my future. You see, each failure, each disappointment, each time I had to pick myself up from the ground was a lesson in disguise. The times I thought I was being pushed down were the very times that life was pushing me forward. I was growing even when I didn't realize it. There's this myth we all buy into sometimes, the myth that the successful are somehow exempt from struggle, that their path was smooth, that they've never had to endure hardship. But let me tell you, it's not true. Everyone faces challenges. Everyone has to fight for what they want. It's just that some people choose to keep moving forward even when it seems impossible. They don't let the setbacks define them. They let the lessons they learn along the way shape them. And that's what we all need to do. We need to stop running from our struggles and start embracing them. Not because they're easy, but because they are what will help us become the best version of ourselves. And when you start to embrace the journey, the highs, the lows, the moments of triumph and the moments of despair, you realize that the very things you once feared, the challenges you once avoided, are what make you stronger. They teach you things about yourself you couldn't learn any other way. They show you your true strength. They remind you that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. So when life gives you obstacles, don't back away from them. Don't run, face them head on. Embrace the fight, embrace the struggle. Because the truth is, you'll never truly know what you're made of until you've been tested. You'll never truly understand the depth of your strength until you've been pushed to your limits. And when you face those challenges, when you rise above them, you'll see just how much potential you really have. When you look back at your life and when you reflect on everything you've overcome, you'll realize that the tough moments were not the end, they were the beginning. They were the start of your transformation. Every failure, every rejection, every painful moment is part of your journey to becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that person is someone capable of incredible things. So don't be afraid of the challenges. Don't shy away from the struggles. Embrace them because they are the very things that will make you stronger, wiser, and more capable of achieving the dreams you've always had. But here's the thing. Being proud you're still here isn't just about surviving. It's about what you choose to do with the survival. You're here for a reason. You've made it through the storm, and now it's time to rise with purpose. Life isn't about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up and keep moving forward. You have a purpose, a mission that only you can fulfill. The world needs your unique gifts, your perspective, your voice. You know, there was a time when I didn't fully understand the weight of purpose. I thought that as long as I just kept going, I was doing enough. But the truth is, it's not just about moving forward. It's about moving forward with direction. You can be busy all day long, but if you're not intentional about where you're going, you're just spinning in circles. I had to learn that the hard way. I spent years working, grinding, and striving, but I didn't have a clear sense of where I was headed. I was moving, yes, but I wasn't moving with purpose. And I can tell you, there's a difference between being busy and being impactful. The world is filled with distractions, filled with noise, and it can be easy to lose sight of your true purpose. We all face this struggle, whether it's the pressure of expectations from others or the overwhelming number of choices that flood our minds every day. It's easy to get lost in the chaos. But I learned that you don't find purpose by accident. You have to dig deep, get quiet, and listen to what your soul is telling you. You have to be willing to silence the world for just a moment and ask yourself, what am I meant to do? You see, once I started to align my actions with my purpose, everything changed. The struggles no longer felt like obstacles. They became stepping stones. The rejections, the failures, and the tough days, they all started to make sense. They were part of the process of me finding my true path. And that's something you have to recognize for yourself. Your purpose isn't something you stumble upon without effort. It's something you create, something you nurture with every decision you make. And I'm telling you right now, you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to craft a life of meaning, to make your struggles count, to take everything you've been through and turn it into fuel for your purpose. But you got to keep moving. Purpose doesn't just land in your lap. You've got to chase it. You've got to pursue it with everything you've got. When you find that purpose, it becomes a fire that burns deep inside you. It gives you direction. It gives you a reason to keep pushing when you feel like stopping. It becomes the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, even when you're exhausted. When you have purpose, every setback becomes a lesson, every failure becomes an opportunity, and every day becomes a chance to build something greater than yourself. Purpose will carry you through the storms that would otherwise drown you. It will make you unstoppable. And don't let anyone tell you that your purpose is too small or that it doesn't matter. We live in a world that likes to compare and measure success by the wrong yardstick. Some people will tell you that unless you're doing something grand, unless your impact is seen by millions, your purpose doesn't matter. But that's simply not true. Your purpose is yours alone. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. You don't need a large stage to make a difference. A single act of kindness, a word of encouragement to someone who is struggling, a moment of honesty, these things matter. You don't need to be famous to be significant. You don't need to be rich to make an impact. Your purpose is valuable because it's yours, because it's unique to who you are, and because it's tied to the very essence of your existence. It's also important to recognize that finding your purpose doesn't mean everything will suddenly be easy, far from it. But when you have purpose, you don't look at the hard times the same way. You look at them as part of the journey, as the challenges that will strengthen you, sharpen you, and prepare you for the next step in your mission. When you are driven by purpose, the pain and the struggle become bearable because you know they're not in vain. They're part of your story, the story you meant to live, and the world needs your story. Your experiences, your voice, your perspective, they're part of the bigger picture. They matter. You have a responsibility to the world. The world needs you to show up. The world needs you to step into your purpose with all of your strength, with all of your courage, with all of your heart. We're all here to contribute something, and that contribution doesn't have to be massive or world-changing in the traditional sense. Sometimes the smallest contributions make the biggest impact. Maybe your purpose is to inspire one person, to change one life, to give one moment of hope when someone feels lost. And maybe that one moment will ripple out and create a change far beyond what you can see. You don't know the impact you're capable of until you step into your purpose. So now more than ever, you need to embrace who you are, embrace your path, and rise with purpose. Let your experiences guide you. Let your struggles build you. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from walking in the direction you were meant to go. Your purpose is waiting for you, and it's time for you to step into it full force, with everything you've got. Keep your head up, your heart open, and your spirit unbreakable. The world needs you, and you owe it to yourself to give it everything you have. So I want you to remember this. I'm proud you're still here, because every moment that you've fought through, every challenge you've overcome, every ounce of strength you've summoned just to keep moving forward has brought you to this point. You've made it through storms that could have broken you, but instead you stand here stronger and more resilient than ever. Your journey isn't just about surviving, it's about what you do with this. It's about rising with purpose, embracing your growth, and using your experiences to fuel your mission. You have a story. You have a strength that's been built through your struggles. You have a purpose that only you can fulfill. The world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your voice, your perspective, your strength. So don't hesitate. Don't doubt your worth. Step into your purpose and let every step you take be a testament to your courage, your resilience, and your unbreakable spirit. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. Keep rising, keep pushing, and keep moving forward, because your journey is far from over and the best is yet to come. You've proven that you can withstand anything. Now it's time to show the world just what you're capable of. You are still here. And that, my friend, is something extraordinary. Now, go out there and let the world see the greatness within you.